Alright guys, welcome back. So today we'll be taking a look at the NECA 2012 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and we'll be starting off with Leonardo. The 2012 show is my absolute favorite TMNT show. It has a real good balance between the lightheartedness and grittiness. The banter between the turtles is very funny, and the sort of familial aspect between Splinter and the turtles are very endearing. So highly advise watching this show, even if you're not specifically into TMNT and just want a good action show with some heart. Definitely recommend. But now this is starting to sound like a review of the show. So without further ado, let's crack this package open and see what we get inside. We'll quickly take a look at the packaging. We have some really nice art of Leonardo there. Not sure where they got this one from, but usually in the series, the turtles are depicted with three toes. So maybe there was like some comic done with them. But the artwork does look really cool. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the side. Leonardo was actually number 4, but we're going in descending order. We have a short little bio here for once. Mutated from ooze and raised in the ways of ninjutsu by their rat sensei Splinter, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are ready to venture outside their sewer lair to fight evil everywhere. And that's a pretty apt bio there. We have an alleyway drawing right there. It's pretty cool. And then we have on the side some more nicely drawn sort of comic style art. And once you join all the boxes together, you'll get a full picture. So we'll check that out at the end. At the bottom, we just have all the legal info. These boxes do feature a flap. And once you open it, see some more interesting artwork there. I can't exactly remember nor place where this is from, but it does look kind of cool. And you can see Leo nicely inside there. Does look really cool. Can't wait to check it out. So let's get him out the package. So let's take a closer look at Leonardo and getting right into the details on the face. He does look really good, but I think they were a little bit lacking on the skin tone in terms of the splotches. They did try to do the darker ones, but in the show there's some lighter ones, some green ones, and it does add a little varied look to them. So I don't think they captured that look from the 3D model too well. And another nitpick I have is the fact that this bandana is way too short. Leo's bandana and Donnie's and Raph's usually could come over their shoulder like that. This looks more like the length that Mikey's bandana is, so that's a little bit disappointing. But it can rotate though. The shell does look really nice in front there. You can see those little scratches and nicks. And the texture that they managed to achieve on the belts, really nice. It does look like actual leather. So that's a really nice thing. The shell at the top here is very soft. And that is because they tried to implement like a new piece of articulation for the turtles. So it's almost like the whole shell is a hard piece except for the top here where they could actually crunch forward a little bit. So that is actually kind of cool. You can crunch forward and also tilt to the side and stuff. So it's nice to see people actually trying to do something different with turtle articulation. Kind of wish they would do the same for the legs as well and make the bottom uh, shell like softer so they could kick forward more easily and stuff. Getting right into the details on like the elbow pads and the arm wraps. It is painted really well, and you can see that little wash going across the top there. Very nice. I like that all the pads and stuff do look like actual leather. You can see the turtle shell pattern on the back there is done pretty nice. And they do have quite a lot of nicks and scratches on the shell as well. That's really cool. These, I've seen a lot of people complaining that theirs broke off. Mine seems to be on quite well. So may it remain so. But I did get a lot of trouble getting the sword inside this hole though. So I actually had to go in there with a scissors and just kind of scrape it against the side just to kind of widen it. So now it's a little bit better. But we'll take a look at that in accessories. Taking a look at the side, you can see from the 2012 show they did have those kind of designs on the inside of the shell there. Does look really cool. The legs do have like a softer piece around them, so they can kick forward to some degree, but not super high, you know. So getting down to the knees, you can actually see like more scuffs and stuff like that on the knee pads, which is really good. I like how they did the feet on these. They kind of did it like how Jada Toys did their Mega Man figures, where the foot is just a big round piece like that, and then this comes around it, if you know what I mean. So you can achieve quite a bit of forward and back, as well as you could have your ankle rocker in there. Is very useful for such a big foot design. So another complaint I have is I think the arms are very, very gummy and the shoulders are very stiff. So if you try to grab the arm to raise the shoulder, not a good idea. I would strongly advise holding the shoulder itself to raise the arm. And for some reason, the shoulders are very stiff to rotate. So I hope it doesn't break off on me at some point. But for the most part, it does seem to be holding. Seems to have quite a lot of detents on the peg going into the shoulder. So just be very careful with that. So another complaint I have is the fact that these are supposed to be the sword holding hands, but the space between the joint there is way too small for the sword to fit in. So I'm gonna have to heat that up and see if I can get the swords inside there. But other than that, he doesn't have any other hands to hold the swords. So it's that or nothing. And as much as I like the figure, I need to point out some of these flaws on this because after messing with him for a little bit, the hand has become very, very loose. Where like certain parts of the paint might have thing, it holds at a certain way and then it will start flopping like that. And also a similar circumstance with the right knee as well. Very loose. But other than the complaints I outlined there, I think the figure is really fantastic. It's a very nice representation of them. I kind of pretty annoyed about the bandana though, but it is what it is. So getting right into the articulation on Leo, his head could look up quite a good ways. Could look down. It's on a ball joint, so you can get all the tilt and everything. The shoulders go up about this far. Lays down to the side about that far. The shoulders can rotate, though as mentioned, very, very stiff. I like the fact that even though there are no butterfly joints, the figure can actually bring the arms reasonably close together in front because of the squishy upper shell. So you can probably get those double-handed sword poses, which is really cool, I think. He does have bicep swivel. He does have double jointed elbows. Could get you about that much range. The wrists do swivel and hinge. The torso, as mentioned, does seem to be a ball joint inside the shell, so you can get him to tilt left and right about that far. So you can actually get him to crunch forward quite a bit. There's nothing at the waist or the hips, like the Mirage Turtles, which would have been nice to see on these as well, if they could have put a lower joint as well. But you can kick forward about this far. The shell around there and the shell at the front are a little bit soft, but this is about the furthest forward he'll be able to kick. Can kick back about that far. He can get about this much into a split. thighs do have a swivel at the top there. The knees are double jointed. And the ankles could kick forward about that far, kick back about that far. And it does have a rocker. It would be really nice if they had put a little cut at the top of these wraps there though. That would have made posing a lot better. Getting right into Leo's accessories, he does come default in package with the sword holding hands. He does come with 2 open gesture hands, as well as 2 fists. Leo also does come with a alternate head with the eyes closed, which is cool, but I have to echo everybody else's sentiment in saying that they should have included a head with just the pupils. As cool as the meditation head is, I think it would have been better to have the pupilled head first, and maybe put this one in an accessory pack or something later on. But to complete the look, he also does come with a pair of hands for meditation, and it does look really cool. The left hand goes over the right hand, which sort of interlocks together. He does come with his 2 katanas, and you can see that one is shorter than the other, as it is in the show. But the handles on them pretty much the same, and they are painted really nicely. The yellow on the ends there, very well done. And then on the blades, you have that matte black on the back there, and silver on the ends. You can see that my blades have a little bit of a sloppy paint job on this one, on the shorter one. But on this other side here is pretty clean. You can just slide them like this into the gap and then turn them. And once you get them into his hand, he does look very cool with them. And the katanas can also be stored on the sheaths on the back. The shorter one goes on the left hand side one, and the longer one goes on the other side. I will mention, however, that this one was very tight in the beginning, so I took my scissors I usually do these reviews with, and I kind of made the hole a little bit bigger, and that's how the sword is able to slide so easily into there now. He does come with a very nicely detailed slice of pizza. You can see those pepperonis and stuff on there. And he's able to hold that slice of pizza very nicely in the gripping hand. He does come with one of the smoke bombs that they use quite a lot in the series. And it is painted, not the greatest, but it is very tiny, so we'll give them that. There's no hand specifically designed for holding the smoke bomb, so the open gesture hand will have to do. He does also come with a T-phone, which is really nicely detailed for something that small. It would have been nice if they had done a little print or something on the screen to make it look like somebody's on there. But for the most part, it is well done. Once again, there's no hand designed for holding this phone, so the open gesture hand will have to do. He comes with the blaster that Donnie created so they could destroy the Krang portal. And it is really nicely detailed and weathered, which is a nice touch. I like the little tank thing they have on the side right there. Really well done. And he can hold it very nicely in the gripping hand, but that gripping hand is very, very tight, so just make sure and heat it up before putting it in there. For height, Leo does stand about 5.5 inches tall. Here's how he looks next to McFarlane Nightfall Batman, Jada Toys Ken, SHF Daima Goku, Black Series Mando, Fury Toys Samurai Animals Spring, and lastly NECA Mirage Donatello. So they're slightly shorter than the Mirage line. In closing, I definitely do like the figure. I think it could have been a little bit better in terms of the skin tone and stuff, because as I mentioned, there are some different colored speckles they have on them. I think the most annoying part for me on this figure is the fact that the bandana is too short. I'm not sure what artwork they were basing that off of, but it definitely isn't accurate to how he is in the show. I feel very fortunate though, because my figure didn't come with any of the problems that a lot of people mentioned, like the sheath falling off and the joints being too tight and stuff like that. But it does have some flaws, like the sheath wasn't wide enough for the sword to allow the sword to fit down inside, so I had to kind of widen it myself. And then also the joints on the elbow on the left arm is very loose now, and also the right knee also very loose. But other than that, the only other complaint I have is a nitpick about the bandana, which is too short. But I think they did a really good job on it, I think. So I picked this one up at Walmart. Well, I picked up all 4 of them at Walmart, and I just wanted to see how they were before I tried getting the shredder. So I think I definitely will try to get the shredder now, because I am satisfied with how they came out. But nonetheless, hope you all enjoyed this review. Hope this helps anybody who was on the fence about getting this figure. And until next time, you all take care.